Hello, it's me, Zanowski. And today I have some tips for you against stage fright because, some friends have been asking me about that, like, how are you not nervous when you go on stage? I would die if I had to go on stage. Like, do you have some tips? And I have 5 tips for you today, and I will give them to you in chronological order. So things that you can do way before the gig up to right before. Let's get started. Tip 1 is actually practice your stuff to the point where it's just muscle memory. So what I mean by that is that practice the stuff over and over. So also the lyrics. As a vocalist, you might be afraid to just forget all of your lyrics and don't know what to sing anymore. Yeah, that's very common. I have that too. But the funny thing is, of course, I know all of our songs, right? But if you ask me, like, what do you sing in the middle of the second verse of that song? I probably won't be able to tell you, and I would have to sing like at least the whole verse or sometimes even more of the song just to tell you what the lyrics are. You know, I can tell you because I of course I know the song by heart, but it's really difficult to tell you in detail because I don't know the lyrics that much in detail, if that makes sense. So it's just, if we play the song together, I don't have to think about it. It just comes naturally, and that is really helpful. So maybe when you are practicing with your band, just try to not focus on the lyrics as much. So sometimes, we keep practicing and my thoughts just drift off, and I'm wondering, so the second verse, we've done that now already, but I wasn't even listening, but apparently I didn't make any mistakes. And then okay, you just practice it to the point where it's muscle memory. So I heard the same phenomenon from our guitarist, by the way. So that's really helpful. So of course, if you practice a lot, you will get better. That's nothing new, but I think this is a valuable tip, and I think this will give you a lot of stability and just reduce your nervousness because, like, even if I don't know the lyrics right now, I will know them when we play together on stage. So I think that helps a lot. So my second tip against stage fright is to prepare your body for the gig on that day. What I mean by that is that, of course, if you get there like really tired, you haven't slept, and you're hungry, and your stomach aches, and I don't know, whatever, you won't feel good. And this may lead to increased nervousness that you will fuck up on stage, because it's just not your day. Some tips for that are get to the venue well rested, drink a lot of tea, stay hydrated always, like not only on that day, but always. You can drink some chamomile tea, gargle with salt water. So especially if you feel like, oh no, I'm getting a cold, my throat starts to hurt. Gargling warm salt water is the best you can do. For real, I do this all the time, so it really helps. And just try to at least, if you're not feeling good mentally because you're so nervous, try to at least make your body feel good, because on a subconscious level, that will probably help you. Tip number 3 is to keep yourself busy before the gig. So let's say you just arrived at the venue and there is a sound check. You arrived there very early, but then, something happens. So you start later than you have thought, and you just sit around all the time, and you have loads of time to become even more nervous. So that's bad, right? So this is why I usually try to keep myself busy. So I'm not as nervous now anymore. But, when I had my first ever gig, I actually organized that gig as well. And I was so busy with, handling the bands and handling the catering and all of that I didn't have any time to be nervous. It was just like, okay, now we have to go on stage. Of course, I did my vocal warm-ups a little bit, but then we went on stage and I didn't really have time to let that nervousness build up. Of course, that's not always the case. So sometimes you just don't have a lot to do, but what you can try to do is help your bandmates with like all of their gear, carrying that around, setting up the merch, getting drinks for the band, just talking to people, socializing, networking a little bit, and just try to keep yourself busy and not just stay backstage and be nervous, because that won't help. Yeah, tip number 4 is do vocal warm-up exercises. So that's also a nice thing to keep you busy with. And you should not skip this step. It's important, but you probably know that already. So try to take some time backstage and just do your vocal warm-ups. Maybe you have already a routine that you do before practice. If not, there are tons of exercises online, on streaming, on YouTube that you can just go along with. So the exercises that I usually do are the Jacob's Vocal Academy. I think it's called Vocal Warm-Up Exercises Volume 1. Sometimes, if I'm feeling fancy, I do all of them or just a couple of them. And then I'm ready to go, usually. So if that's not enough for you, you can build your own routine, but you should not skip it before a gig. Yeah, especially because warming up can also help with reducing that, tenseness that you get in your throat, because that won't help with singing at all. And that can come from increased nervousness. Okay, and tip number 5 is to not get wasted before the gig. Yeah, I'm saying this because in a lot of venues, as a band, you get free alcohol. They just put a lot of beer somewhere backstage or stuff like that. Yeah, I understand that if you're nervous, you might think, okay, if I just, drink a little bit, I will be less nervous. Yes, but you will probably also fuck up your performance. So if you're not used to that, I mean, one little drink might help loosen you up a little bit. So I'm not saying, no, you can't drink anything at all. I guess that's fine. But my tip is not to get wasted because you think, then I won't be nervous. Because, you will probably regret that. And these were my tips. But I also wanted to say, don't forget that sometimes you just have a bad day. Sometimes you just have a bad evening. And even if the show doesn't really go as you would like to, that just happens sometimes. So sometimes, the audience is just weird, or sometimes, you're not feeling it, and that's fine. So don't beat yourself up over it. Just, try to be as prepared as possible, do your thing, see it as practice, and to gain more experience, and the next gig will be better. Oh, yeah, and with that, I say thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like this video, and say hello to Mimi. Hello. Okay, thank you. Bye.